Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Mark in the Coral Room today on Mark's Aquatics. Right, on this little episode we're going to be talking about zoanthid eating nudibranchs. Okay, now they're a right pain in the rear when you do get them. Most shops that you buy them from don't treat for them. They'll come in as an egg form. You won't see them for maybe 2 to 3 weeks or maybe even longer, and then suddenly your zoas will start to just close up, not look as good. Some will be open, some will be closed, and you're going to be wondering what's been going on. You'll be thinking, is there fish annoying them? Are the crabs annoying them? You know, the hermit crabs crawling all over them, making sure they're closing up all the time. But most likely it's going to be the zoanthid eat nudibranchs. Now these guys come in a variety of colours. They'll actually match the colour of the zoanthids that they're feeding on. So if you've got the green ones, they'll have little green tentacles on them, and they mimic the corals absolutely perfectly. Okay, the zoas, sorry. Down to red ones, everything. Now I've got a shipment in very recently, and one of them is showing signs of nudibranchs on there. So without it spreading through any of my other colonies, which are perfectly healthy, okay, this is normally the first sign. You'll have all your other zoanthids will be healthy, and you'll find one colony will start to close up. Now it's vitally important that when this happens, you get that colony out and you treat it straight away. Okay, that's the first thing you've got to do, because there's nothing else that's going to get rid of them apart from dips. One thing I will say, dips don't get rid of the eggs. They will get rid and dislodge the adults and the newly hatched ones off of the zoas. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you what I do to get rid of them and make sure that they don't come back, because once you get them in a big aquarium they can become quite troublesome. So this is why you must always dip your corals when you get them first. Even if you get them off myself or anywhere else like that, just as a precautionary measure, check them over, make sure they're okay. Put them in a tank, maybe if you've got a little quarantine tank for a while. If you haven't, treat them first like this, and I'll show you how many can come off. Maybe it might not be many, it could be quite a few, I'm not sure yet. I've just noticed it this morning, so I'm going to jump on it very quickly. Okay, so let's go in the kitchen, change the scene. I'll fill up a bowl, show you how I use this Coral RX. I'll show you what I've got here. This is the stuff I use. Coral RX. What I do is I've just literally got the instructions and I just reversed it on there with a bit of sticky tape, so it just saves me reading it every 5 minutes. I can just try to find the instructions, which we always lose, and put that back on there. I'll stick a link to this stuff in the description if you fancy getting a bottle. Helps me out, it'll help you out as well. So go and grab yourself one of these guys, and I'll tell you what it is now before we go in there. It's 12 drops of Coral X Pro per 1 litre of salt water at your aquarium. And that's it. You can either mix it up neat, new one, or you can take it, I just take it a litre straight out of my aquarium, put the drops in, stir it up, wait for 5 minutes. I'll show you all that now. Come on, let's go in the kitchen. Right, okay guys, change of scenery. We're in the workshop. Wife is cooking in the kitchen, so we can't do it in there. Right, Coral RX Pro, 24 drops we need. We've got 2 litres in here. One more full off, look at that. There you go. Now what you've got to do is you've got to just slightly just move that around and mix it in with the water, and you'll find there'll be some like suds will form on the top of the on the water as well, like a fairy liquid. And I think that's how it works as well, because it makes it so they can't stick onto where they are, and it annoys them, and so they let go. All the adults and the sub-adults are going to let go. So I've got that in there now. So what I'm going to do now is go into my other room, get the offending coral, and we'll bring him in here and we'll chuck him in the solution. Right, here we go. That's a nice big chunk. If you look at that, lovely big colony of zoas, a few little mussels in there as well. Lower that into there, and then you can let that sit for, I would say, around 10 minutes. You're going to get all sorts of little guys falling off of these, if they're like little brittle stars or other things, little sea fleas. Various little creatures are going to start dropping off because this stuff is going to annoy them and make them release. I find the stuff doesn't actually kill them, but it just makes them release and you can blow them away. Now what I use is a turkey baster, and I'll just go and get that now, and then we'll leave it 5 minutes, and then what we're going to do is we're just going to start puffing in and amongst all these little zoanthid heads and pushing out any of those horrible little zoas that are nudibranchs that are hiding in amongst them. Okay, you'll see them come off. Alright, okay, you can see already, you can see some little brittle stars, some little sea fleas, copepods. There's all kinds of stuff coming out of there now. So I've just got my turkey baster, and I am just going to start blowing in amongst this, and I can see a few little bits coming off. Just keep sucking and pumping away in amongst them. Obviously you're going to get a bit of detritus coming out from in between the zoas as well. Could have done with a bit more water in there. It's a little bit shallow, but we'll make do. And just keep puffing away. Give it a break for a bit. Turn the colony over. Sorry about my arm there. Because they'll go underneath, they'll hide everywhere. And you'll find that when they first close up like this, it's normally the babies, and they've all hatched, and they'll be everywhere. So and they can have hundreds of little tiny ones. So you've got to be quite persistent, and do this once every couple of weeks, and then as they hatch you'll start getting them every time. Then just spin that colony over. They're really tough little guys, so don't worry about hurting them if you're turning them over. They're quite stiff when they all curl up. Oh, look at that lot. Now then, did you see all those big ones just come out there on the right hand side where I was puffing? They've hidden underneath because the lights are on. And they're the guys that we want to get rid of. We'll have a close-up look at these little chaps. There's quite a few coming off now. Keep puffing away. Another big one there. And what I tend to do is get another little tub right next to me, and as I'm doing this I'll suck them out and I'll blow them into another little tub, so I keep them from crawling back on again. What this stuff does, it just makes them a little bit dozy, I think, and so they'll just let go. You'll find they'll start sticking everywhere again though. Oh, pardon me. Right, I better get some of these little guys out, I think. Okay guys, just the last thing you can do, just wash them. Give them a good old wash around like that as well. That'll get that stuff all in amongst those little zoanthid heads. And then what we'll do, I can show you then what's come off. Always make sure you have some clean water as well. Rinse these in another bucket of clean aquarium water to get that stuff off before you put it back into your tanks, okay? Or it'll send your skimmer a little bit loopy with bubbles, you'll find. Right, that little guy's done. I'm going to zip him back into the shed now, and then we'll have a look in this bowl. I'll put them into another bowl, I think, and we'll see what we've got off of this little colony. Right guys, there you go. Giving you a nice little close-up now of these little nudibranchs. Naughty little guys. Like I said before earlier in the video, they'll eat the edges and the lip. You'll find they'll go around the lips, and this is of the zoanthid. This is what makes them close up, because they're trying to feed on the mantle on the inside. That's what my thinking is anyway. And they try and eat the tentacles. That's why the back of them is as frilly as it is, and under UV light these grow beautiful green. They glow just like the actual zoanthid tentacles themselves, and that's why it's very hard to see. So if you go in of a night time and you shine your UV light in there, your little torches, you can buy them on Amazon now quite easy. If I find one, I'll stick it in the comments, in this comment section below, so you can pick one of them up. They're only about 8 or 9, 10 quid I suppose, and they're really handy for seeing these little guys. But as you can see, they're just little sea slugs that feed on them. I don't like to kill anything, but these guys are destined for the big white telephone, and sadly, because I've got nowhere else and nobody else is going to want them. So there's a little brittle star in there as well. I'll try and fish him out and put him back in. It's just a little detritus eating little starfish there. I'll hook him out, make sure he's okay. For the rest of them, we got no use for them being pest species, sadly, so they've got to go. But you'll find these, they'll be red tentacles, they can be green, they can be brown, they'll mimic any of the colour zoanthids that they go on. When they feed on them, they take on that coloration of that zoanthid that they're feeding on, okay? So Coral RX Pro, I'll stick a link for that. Always good to have some of them in a bottle of that in your armoury, just in case you get some and you see your corals starting to close up, or when you're buying new corals, make sure you're dipping them straight away to remove any adults that could be hiding in amongst it. Have a quick look around to see if there's any eggs. If there is any eggs on there, you can pull them off with a pair of tweezers as well. They'll just be like a little cluster or a little half crescent moon shape on. I couldn't find any on there, which is good, on that colony. So anyway guys, thanks for watching this little video. If you like these videos, give them a thumbs up, and which does help the channel out a little bit. And as always, your stars, love you loads, take care, and I'll see you on the next episode of Mark's Aquatics. Bye for now.